So good morning. We are from ifarm, a non-government organization whose advocacy is to help the concerns of the farmers. We are working with Syngenta and the local government as well as the municipal health officer. So we are here to give you a talk on the following topics so that you can look after the well-being of your community. So the topics are actually valuing farming life, safe and judicious use of pesticide, health and basic first aid, and positive coping. So the first topic is about valuing farming life. So as you can see, there are two kinds of people in the world, those who look at their job as merely a method of getting income, but the others look at their job as a source of fulfillment and purpose. And we hope you realize by now that agriculture is actually so much more than just a job. We have here a handout and we can discuss it. I'm sure that you know for a fact how valuable you are in our community. You are the one who ensure our food security, and we have other things that we can discuss while we talk about this. So our next topic would be about taking care of the use of some beneficial substances that you need for your farming.
Okay, good morning. Before we proceed to topic 2, the safe and judicious use of pesticide, I would just like to ask you, what are the common problems you encountered in the farm? Okay, Manon, can you give one? Okay, we have the rats, the weeds, yes, the insects. So these are what we call pests. Pests, these are the organisms that cause damage to the farms. And in regard with this, there's in line with this pest, here's come the production and manufacture of what we call pesticide. So pesticides are substance which will basically reduce this pest that you encounter in your farm. And pesticides are usually formulated as toxic. So, of course, safe handling is very important because we all know that pesticides are toxic. So, we are here to give you the 5 golden rules for the safe use of pesticide. Because, as I've said earlier, if these pesticides are handled wrongly, of course, pesticides can be dangerous. So, here we have the crops. Caution at all times. Read and understand the label. Often check your spray equipment. Practice good proper hygiene and secure yourself by using appropriate PPEs. So let's go to the first one. Caution at all times. We must bear in mind before buying a product, either it's pesticide, a drug, or anything. Of course, we must remember to check the label, to check if these are registered, if it's registered. So in the case of pesticide, it must be registered with the FPA. And of course, we must be also cautious at all times in our house. Let's not just store our products anywhere. And then for the second one, the read and understand the label, we must read we must read and understand the label and then before using the product. So here is one example of the label wherein every pesticide there will be a corresponding color band. So we have the green, the blue band, the yellow band, and the red. So as we can observe, as we go higher, more precautions should be done. Like for the red label, there are more things to be observed, like in the mixing and during the applications as provided by the pictograms. So next, the third golden rule for the safe use of pesticide is to often check your spray equipment. So first, what are the things that you should do to check your spray equipment? So these are the things that you should do and these are the things that you should not. Secondly, after checking, you must calibrate. So these are also the things that you should remember. For the application, here are the things that you should do and you should not. And lastly, after after applying the pesticide, you must clean the spray equipment that you use. So these are the things that you should remember, and these are the things that you should not do. Okay, the fourth golden rule that we should always remember is to practice good, proper hygiene. Because we all know hygiene is very important for an individual. So before, during, and after application, you must remember these things. So before, you must never use your hands in measuring like that. For during application, you should not eat, you should not smoke. And then after, this is very important, you should take a bath and you must wash your clothes, your own clothes. When you apply, you must be the one to wash your own clothes. Do not include it with the family laundry. And lastly, the fifth golden rule that we must always remember is the S. Secure yourself by using the appropriate PPEs. So as I've said in the label, there are things that you should wear as prescribed by the label. So in case, you must use the boots, the gloves, the overall, and the goggles. Before I proceed to the next topic, I would just like to ask, again, what are the proper ways, what are the rules that we should remember in the safe use of pesticides?
Crops.
Okay, we must remember the crops. So, next is, I would like to emphasize on the storage. Again, as I've said earlier, we must be cautious at all times, especially in your house. So if it's necessary, if you have warehouse for pesticide or other farm equipments, that's very good. So storage, always lock and key. Lock and key is very important. Always have a lock for your pesticide to avoid the reach for children, of children and your pets. And then you must not also include it with the food stuff because it's very dangerous. Especially those who are left over in your farms, do not include it by transferring it to beverage containers, and because that would be harmful. And then after storing, with the storage, another also very important matter that you should always remember is the waste disposal. The proper waste disposal. Do not just throw it in your community, in your neighborhood, because of course we must also remember our environment. Do not throw it in your water resources, like that. So there are things that you should do, like burying. But before burying, of course, you must do the triple rinse, like that. At the end of the day, we must remember that health is wealth. I would like to emphasize that wealth is not only on financial matters, not only on your trucks, your elves, your gigas. Health is also wealth, which is true that in taking good care of your crops, as I've said earlier, we must always remember the crops, the 5 golden rules on how to safe and properly use our pesticide. But in the accidentally, or we don't hope that accidents do happen, but sometimes it really happens. That's why we have here our registered nurse to tell us about on.
Good morning, I'm Philip, I'm a nurse. I'll be discussing the first aid in common emergencies. But temporary accidents really happen, you cannot avoid that. And before that, we start with the basics about health and hygiene. As you can see in the picture, sleep. We need to sleep 8 hours a day minimum. And exercise, of course, you're a farmer, you exercise every day. And we brush 3 times a day, we take a bath every day, and we should also eat the most important meal of the day is breakfast. Even you don't eat in lunch, you must eat your breakfast. You break your fasting, so you can have energy for the whole day. Next is the proper nutrition. You must drink 8 glasses of water a day because our body needs fluids. Our body is consistent of 60 to 70% fluid. We lubricate our joints, our brain. Mostly our brain is it is the most organ that needs fluid. Accidents happen. The first common accidents that I will discuss is choking. When somebody is choking, there are signs and symptoms of choking. If he reacts like that, using his palm and his face is turning to blue, it means she has no oxygen. You first, I will perform it in front of you. first you do is you go to the back of the patient, you drum your hand, make your fist, your drum your hand, and put it in his belly. Tapos you turn it upward motion. What if a baby chokes? First you do is you put his mouth on his two fingers and use your knee as a base, and you back tap it 5 times. Don't do it directly, a sliding back tapping. Next slide please. In bleeding, if someone's bleeding, think of first is rise. That is our mnemonics. Bleeding, rise. That is the first aid for a common from a medical person. Rise is rest. First is rest. We make the victim rest because our if we panic, our blood pressure increase. So the blood flow that coming out in our body will increase too. Make the patient relax, rest. Ice. We use ice. We can use ice, but not long because it will harm the body. Don't use a direct ice to the wound. Use some cloth, piece of cloth, and you put it in the wound for 10 to 15 minutes, not longer. Tapos compress. It will compress our artery veins, so it will stop the bleeding. And elevate it above the heart. For example, you're bleeding on this finger. You raise it above the heart so the blood flow will not come out. It will come out, pero it will slowly come out. Next is burns. In burns, you just put it in a running water. Please don't try to the boils. Please don't try to break the boils because it is a blister. It is a blister, not the boils. Blister. It will be entrance for the infection if you break the blisters. Next is poisoning. In poisoning, if you suspect them to be if a victim suspected to be a poison, you must protect yourself. Survey the scene. If you smell the poison, you must cover your nose so you will not inhale too. You drag the patient to a safe place. And if the poison went to your right eye, you wash it on the right side with running water, not on the other side because it will infect the other eye. And put him on his left position. Left, why left? Because the fluid will contain on the stomach. If you put it on the right, it will continue going down to your intestine. And activated charcoal. If somebody suspected to be drinking poison, immediately give him activated charcoal. It's like making coffee in the morning. You get activated charcoal and put it in water and drink it. Immediately drink the activated charcoal and left side line. These are the signs and symptoms for poisoning. If the pulse and bleeding is present, if yes, or ingested, use activated charcoal and left side line immediately. Activated charcoal and left side line. If inhaled, you must remove it from the exposed area, like the picture a while ago, dragging it to the safe place. If the poison went to your eye or skin, if in your eye, running water, and if it infected your skin, use soap and water. Please don't use bar soap, it will make your skin dry. And all of them go to the hospital. And reminders. Next slide, please. Reminders. Just a while ago, I said that if somebody suspected to be drinking poison, left side line and activated charcoal. And never give anything orally in a unconscious victim. And always bring the container or the a sample, specimen sample, a poison that the victim orally ingested, and bring it to the hospital. Prevention is better than cure. For me, prevention is cheaper than cure because in health, it's cheaper to prevent than to be cured. That's all. Next.
So this is just a continuation of the first talk a while back. We talked about how beautiful life was as a farmer, and we know that we had problems before, but you were able to overcome them. And we just want to remind you again that whatever problem you may encounter, that you always have a way out, that whatever you are going through right now, it too shall pass, and all you have to do is never to give up. So as you can see, we honestly just want you to win and overcome because you can. We want you to become a victor and not a victim. And on top of all this, all you have to do is to have a positive attitude. You know that positive people are different because they always win. They always find a way of looking for solutions. If you happen to be going through a problem right now, our agriculturist told you about PPE. This time, we want to remind you about TPN. If you have a problem, all you have to do is to become proactive, to solve your problem, deliberate problem solving, and to do networking. So we have a workshop, and as you can see, we already have a handout given to you. In the handout, we will be talking about this. You can share your experiences and the concrete ways on how you can solve problems regarding a farming life or a farmer's life. However, sometimes some people, when they're having a problem, they go through some phase where they could not really think. And this is a time when we really need to help them. We do not judge them. Because even if they really want to come up with solutions to their problems, it's very difficult for them to actually consider other options. Again, we help them, we do not judge them, and we remind them to win and overcome. We remind them that there are always solutions to their problems. We remind them to use their difficulties and their problems to become a better person. We will be talking about kintsugi, we will be talking about being an eagle, we will be talking about being a winner. And we understand that you can do this. We also would teach you about how to look for people going through depression. But at the end of the day, we just want to remind you again that there is hope. Do not give up. Life is beautiful. The reason why it's beautiful is because it has its own difficulties and blessings. And I hope you remember this all the time. And to just remind you that you can do this. This is all. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.